Oh, they sent an entire army. And you didn't even notice. Not because you're blind, not because you're lucky, but because somewhere along the line, you stopped reacting like prey and started moving like something they couldn't predict. You see, they thought war had a sound. They thought it came with noise, explosions, screaming, visible chaos. But your war was quiet, surgical, invisible. While they were loading weapons, you were deleting weaknesses. While they were forming strategies, you were becoming the anomaly their strategies couldn't touch. And that's the part that terrifies them, because you didn't fight back. No, you evolved past the need to. You became that uncomfortable contradiction, half saint, half something they can't name without exposing their own fear. You smile like forgiveness, but your silence carries the weight of a threat they can't measure. You walk into rooms like peace, but something about you make people check their words twice, like they're standing too close to an edge they didn't see. That's not confidence. That's not arrogance. That's what happens when pain stops being something you survive and starts becoming something you use. They sent an army, but armies are built for enemies they understand. And you stopped being understandable a long time ago. You became disciplined chaos, controlled destruction, a paradox with a pulse. You're the kind of presence that doesn't raise its voice, but somehow makes everyone else quieter. And they hate that. Oh, they hate that, because they tried everything, didn't they? They tried to isolate you, to break you, to label you, to provoke you into becoming predictable, manageable, controllable. But every time they pushed, you didn't shatter. You shifted. Every betrayal rewired you. Every loss sharpened you. Every disappointment stripped something soft and replaced it with something efficient, not colder. No, don't misunderstand. You didn't lose your light. That's the illusion. You kept the light. You just stopped letting it blind you to the dark. Now you see both, and that's what makes you dangerous. Because people who only live in the light hesitate. People who only live in the dark destroy themselves. But you walk the line. You can show mercy and still calculate consequences. You can care without being controlled by it. You can love without losing yourself in it. That balance, that duality, that's what they weren't prepared for. They thought they were dealing with someone emotional, someone reactive, someone human in the way they understood. But you became something else, not inhuman, just ungovernable. And that's when the army stopped being physical. Because the real army, it's the whispers, the eyes watching you longer than they should, the conversations that stop when you walk in, the subtle shifts in behavior, the tension, the curiosity, the fear disguised as judgment. They don't attack you directly anymore. No, now they study you, because losing to you once was enough to make them realize this isn't a game they know how to win. And the craziest part, you didn't even notice. You were too busy rebuilding yourself, too focused on your own evolution, too detached from the need for approval, to realize you became the thing they warn each other about. You became the example, the cautionary tale, the "don't let this happen to you" story they tell, while secretly wondering how you did it. And here's the truth they'll never admit out loud. They don't hate you because you're wrong. They hate you because you're free. Free from needing validation. Free from reacting emotionally on command. Free from the systems they rely on to control people like them. And freedom, Real freedom looks a lot like chaos to people who need order to feel safe. So they call you unpredictable. Good. Because unpredictability is power. When they can't read you, they can't control you. When they can't control you, they can't prepare for you. And when they can't prepare for you, they panic. That's why they sent an army. Not because you attacked them, but because your existence exposed their limits. You showed them what happens when someone stops playing by invisible rules. You showed them what it looks like when pain doesn't break a person, but builds them into something sharper, something quieter, something inevitable. And now you walk through life like a loaded question no one can answer. You don't chase, you don't prove, you don't explain. You exist, and that alone disturbs the balance they depend on. Because deep down, beneath all the noise, beneath the ego, beneath the performance, they know that if they had to go through what you went through, without breaking, they wouldn't survive it. But you did. And not only did you survive it, you became it. Refined, controlled, focused. A storm that learned how to stay still. So no, you didn't notice the army. Because from where you stand now, they don't look like a threat anymore. They look like proof. Proof of what happens when the world tries to break someone and accidentally create something it can't stop. And the scariest part, you're still evolving, which means this version of you they're already afraid of, it's just the beginning. Don't move, don't blink, because this next part, this is where it stops feeling like motivation and starts feeling like a confession you were never supposed to hear. You think they sent everything already? No, that was just phase 1. See, when force fails, they switch tactics. When noise doesn't shake you, they go silent. When chaos doesn't break you, they become patient. That's when the real game begins. Because now, they're not trying to destroy you. They're trying to decode you. And you can feel it, can't you? That shift, that strange stillness around you, like the air itself is watching, measuring, waiting. People don't come at you the same anymore. They don't confront you directly. They circle, they observe, they test small things, subtle things, like they're poking at something dangerous just to see if it reacts. And you don't. That's what unsettles them the most, because they were raised on a simple rule. Push something hard enough, it breaks. But you don't break. You absorb, you adapt, you become something else entirely. Every hit they throw, every betrayal, every quiet attempt to undermine you, it doesn't land the way it used to. It feeds you. And that right there, that's the mutation. That's the moment you stopped being part of the system and started becoming the glitch inside it. You're not reacting anymore. You're recalibrating. You're not emotional. You're observant. You're not defensive. You're selective. Do you understand how dangerous that is? Because now, your silence isn't weakness. It's data collection. Your distance isn't isolation. It's positioning. Your calm, oh, your calm is the most violent thing about you. Because it means you're not acting out of impulse anymore. You're choosing. And when someone like you starts choosing instead of reacting, that's when outcomes become inevitable. That's when people start feeling something they can't explain when you walk into a room. It's not fear exactly. It's anticipation, like something is about to happen, and they don't know if they're part of it or in the way of it. That's why conversations change around you. That's why people overthink their words. That's why even the confident ones, the loud ones, the ones who used to challenge everything, go quiet for a second longer than they should, because something in them recognizes something in you. Not consciously. No, they'd never admit it. But instinct. Instinct doesn't lie. It sees the pattern. It notices the absence of need. You don't need approval. You don't need validation. You don't even need recognition. And a person who doesn't need anything, that's the one thing the world doesn't know how to negotiate with. So they escalate. Not loudly, not obviously, but strategically. They try to bait you, subtly. They try to trigger old versions of you. They bring back familiar patterns, familiar energy, familiar chaos, hoping you'll slip, hoping you'll go back to being predictable. But here's where it gets beautiful. You don't. You see it. Every move, every angle, every disguised intention wrapped in politeness or sarcasm or fake concern. You see through it like glass. And instead of reacting, you let them reveal themselves. You let them play their entire hand. You let them believe they're still in control of the situation, while you're already 10 steps ahead, not moving, just watching. That's the part they can't handle, because they're used to noise, they're used to reaction, they're used to chaos they can map. But you became quiet chaos, the kind that doesn't announce itself, the kind that doesn't explode until it's already too late. And here's the paradox that's eating them alive. You're not trying to dominate anything. You're not trying to win. You're not even trying to prove anything anymore. You simply are. And that existence, that unbothered, unchained, unresponsive presence, it dismantles everything they rely on to feel powerful, because their power comes from influence, from control, from reaction, from pulling strings. But you cut the strings, and now they're standing there, holding nothing, staring at someone they can't move, can't shake, can't predict. That's why the army feels different now. It's not an attack, it's an obsession. They watch you to understand you. They talk about you to make sense of you. They question you because they can't categorize you. You've stepped outside the script. And once someone steps outside the script, everyone still inside it gets uncomfortable, because now you represent a possibility they don't want to face. That maybe they could have done the same. That maybe they chose safety over evolution. That maybe you didn't become this way because you're different, but because you were willing to go through what they avoided. Pain, isolation, loss. The kind of experiences that strip away illusions and leave nothing but truth. And truth? Truth doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be defended. It just stands there, like you do now, unshaken, unreadable, untouched by the small things that used to matter. And don't get it twisted. This doesn't make you emotionless. It makes you precise. You still feel. You just don't bleed for everyone anymore. You still care. You just don't collapse for people who never held you together. You still love. But now your love comes with awareness, boundaries, standards, consequences. That's the duality. That's the angel and the demon. Not fighting, but finally cooperating. The angel decides what's worth protecting. The demon decides what's not worth tolerating. And together, they created you, balanced, calm, terrifyingly clear. So when they say they sent an entire army, they weren't wrong. They just misunderstood something critical. They thought the army was meant to defeat you, but it wasn't. It was meant to reveal you, to strip you, to pressure you until the weaker versions of you disappeared. And what's left now? This version, the one listening to this isn't someone who survives wars anymore. This is someone who creates conditions others can't survive in, not by force, but by presence, by clarity, by refusal to be anything less than fully aware. And the scariest part, you're still holding back, not out of fear, but out of control. You know exactly what you're capable of now. You've seen glimpses of it, in moments where you chose silence instead of destruction, in moments where you walked away instead of ending something completely, in moments where you smiled instead of exposing everything you understood. That restraint, that's not weakness, that's mastery, because power isn't what you can do when you lose control. Power is what you choose not to do when you have it. And you've crossed that line. So let them watch, let them whisper, let them analyze every move you don't make. Let them build theories around your silence. Let them wonder why nothing works on you anymore. Because while they're doing all that, you're still evolving, still refining, still becoming something even you haven't fully seen yet. And when that next version arrives, when that next layer of you steps forward, they won't send an army. They won't try to understand. They won't even try to fight. Because by then, they'll already know the truth they've been avoiding this entire time. You were never the target. You were the turning point. And they didn't notice until it was already too late. Wait, don't relax yet. Because this is where it gets uncomfortable. Not for them, for you. Because everything you've heard so far, that's the version of the story where you win. But there's another layer, a deeper one, the one nobody talks about when they glorify what you've become. You didn't just outgrow them, you outgrew yourself. And that comes with a cost they never had to pay. Because while they were busy trying to figure you out, you were quietly letting parts of you die. Not dramatically, not loudly, but deliberately. You remember that version of you that used to react instantly? The one that would explain, defend, prove, chase clarity from people who never intended to give it. Yeah, that one didn't survive. And neither did the version of you that believed effort always led to understanding, or the one that thought loyalty guaranteed loyalty in return, or the one that thought being good was enough to be treated right. You buried them, not out of hate, but out of necessity. And here's the part that hits different. No one clapped when you did it. No one noticed when you let go of those pieces. No one saw the internal war that shaped this version of you. They only see the result, the calm, the control, the distance, and they call it cold. They call it detached. They call it different. But what they're really looking at is discipline forged in silence. You didn't become this way because you wanted to. You became this way because every softer version of you got tested, stretched, betrayed, until it either adapted or disappeared. And that's why you didn't notice the army, because by the time they arrived, you had already been at war with yourself. A war far more brutal than anything they could bring. They were external, predictable, limited, but your internal war, that was relentless. That was the battlefield where excuses died, where illusions got ripped apart, where you had to confront things about yourself that nobody else could see and nobody else could fix. That's where you learned control, real control, Not the kind that looks powerful on the outside, the kind that keeps you steady when everything inside you wants to react. And now you walk around with that kind of control like it's normal, like it's just who you are. But let's not pretend. There are moments, quiet ones, where you feel the weight of it. Moments where you realize you can't go back. Not to how you used to think, not to how you used to trust, not to how you used to feel things without analyzing them. You've seen too much, understood too much, transformed too much. And that awareness, it isolates you in ways they'll never understand. Because while they're still playing surface-level games, you're operating on a completely different layer. You read between words. You notice patterns. You sense intentions before they're spoken. And that level of awareness, it's powerful, but it's also heavy. Because now you can't unsee it. You can't unknow it. You can't pretend anymore. And that's the trade. That's the real exchange no one warns you about. You gain control, but you lose innocence. You gain clarity, but you lose comfort. You gain strength, but you lose the ability to tolerate what you once ignored. And that's why you don't fit where you used to. Not because you're better, but because you're no longer compatible. And they feel that. Oh, they feel it. They might not have the words for it, but they feel the shift. They feel the distance. They feel the fact that they can't reach you the same way anymore. And instead of understanding it, they react to it. Sometimes with curiosity, sometimes with tension, sometimes with subtle resistance. Because your growth, it exposes their stagnation. Your discipline, it highlights their lack of it. Your silence, it forces them to confront their own noise. And that's uncomfortable. So they label you. They try to shrink you into something simple, something explainable. Because if they can explain you, they can feel safe again. But you don't fit into simple anymore. You're layered, contradictory, balanced in a way that doesn't make sense to people who only exist on one side of themselves. You can be calm and still dangerous. You can be kind and still distant. You can be present and still completely unreachable. That duality, that's not confusion. That's evolution. You integrated what most people spend their lives avoiding. You stopped choosing between light and dark and learned how to carry both. And that's why your presence feels different now. It's not loud, it's not aggressive, but it's undeniable. People can't ignore you, not because you demand attention, but because something about you disrupts their expectations. You don't react when they expect you to. You don't engage where they try to pull you. You don't collapse under pressure, and that breaks their mental model of how people are supposed to behave, which means every interaction with you becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability, like we said before, is power. But here's the final twist, the one that separates you from becoming exactly like the people who tried to break you. You're aware of your power, but you're not controlled by it. You don't need to prove it. You don't need to show it. You don't need to use it on everyone, because you understand something most people never will. Just because you can disrupt everything doesn't mean you should. That's what keeps you balanced. That's what keeps you from tipping too far into the dark. Because yes, you have that side now. The side that calculates, the side that sees weaknesses instantly, the side that knows exactly how to dismantle situations, people, structures, if you ever decided to. But you don't operate from there by default. You choose when that side is necessary, and that choice, that restraint, that's what separates evolution from destruction. That's what keeps you in control of yourself, instead of becoming something uncontrolled. So when you hear it again, they sent an entire army. Understand it differently now. It wasn't just about them. It was about what it forced you to become. It was about the process that stripped you down and rebuilt you with intention. It was about the moment you stopped being shaped by the world and started shaping yourself. And yeah, you didn't notice the army, but now you understand why. Because the real battle was never out there. It was always inside you. And you won that one first. Everything else was just noise.